The Krell War Council had seen many species beg for mercy. They had watched the proud Valorians weep, witnessed the mighty Thaxians offer their riches, and heard the cunning Zephyrites spin desperate lies. But never, in their 3,000 years of conquest, had they encountered anything quite like this. Lio Grant stood in the center of the obsidian chamber, barely reaching the height of a Krell's knee joint. The 8-year-old human child wore nothing but torn expedition clothes and dirt-smudged cheeks. Around him, 47 Krell warriors formed concentric circles, their chitinous armor gleaming under the violet lights of their warship. Each warrior stood 3 meters tall, mandibles clicking in anticipation. "The human colony on Kepler 442b has fallen," announced War Prime Thexkal, his translator converting his native clicks into galactic standard. "You are the last. Your parents died defending their pathetic settlement. Now, child of Earth, you will tell us where your kind hides their remaining fleet." Leo said nothing. His brown eyes scanned the chamber with an unsettling calmness that made several warriors shift uncomfortably. "Speak!" Thexkal's roar shook the walls. The boy's lips curved into a small smile. "I don't think Ripper's gonna let me do that." The Krell exchanged confused glances. Their intelligence networks had tracked every human in the colony. There was no one named Ripper. No soldiers. No reinforcements. "Your bluff is..." Thexkal began. The ventilation grate exploded. What emerged defied the Krell's understanding of combat logic. It was small, no larger than the human child, with a stocky body covered in coarse black and white fur. Its claws clicked against the metal floor as it landed between Leo and the nearest warrior. The creature's beady eyes held no fear, no hesitation, only pure, distilled fury. "That," Leo said cheerfully, "is Ripper. And you just made him really, really angry." The honey badger's scientific name was Mellivora capensis. The Krell would later update their xenobiology databases with a new designation: Demon Incarnate. Ripper moved. The first warrior never saw the attack coming. The honey badger scaled his armor in 2 seconds, claws finding purchase in joints the Krell had thought impenetrable. Teeth designed to crack open beehives and tear through turtle shells made short work of the warrior's neck seal. Purple blood sprayed across the chamber. "Kill it!" Thexkal screamed. 20 warriors opened fire. Plasma bolts scorched the air. Every single shot missed. Ripper moved like liquid violence, flowing between attacks with impossible agility. When a bolt finally struck him, the honey badger simply shook it off. His hide evolved to shrug off bee stings, porcupine quills, and snake bites barely registered the energy weapons. A warrior swung his shock pike. Ripper caught it in his jaws, jerked it from the alien's grip, and used it to vault onto another soldier's face. Claws found eyes. Teeth found throats. The Krell's formation collapsed into chaos. "Impossible." Thexkal backed toward the door. "It's one small creature. You don't know much about Earth, do you?" Leo hadn't moved from his spot. He sat down, cross-legged, watching the carnage with the detached interest of a child watching his favorite show. Ripper's species has a pretty cool reputation back home. They fight lions. They steal kills from leopards. They raid beehives for fun. And you know what the best part is? A warrior tried to grab the honey badger from behind. Ripper twisted in a way that should have broken his spine, latched onto the Krell's arm, and didn't let go even when 2 other warriors stabbed him. He just kept biting, kept clawing, kept fighting. "They don't care," Leo continued. "Honey badgers literally do not care. Pain? Don't care. Numbers? Don't care. You being 3 meters tall, covered in armor? Super don't care." 15 warriors were down. 20 more were backing away, their military discipline evaporating. They had conquered 47 worlds. They had never retreated from anything. They retreated from Ripper. The honey badger stood atop a pile of groaning Krell, his fur matted with purple blood. He wasn't even breathing hard. His eyes locked onto Thexkal, with the same expression a human might give a particularly interesting snack. "Call it off," the war prime pleaded. "We will release you. We will leave your world alone." "Nah," Leo said. "See, you killed my mom and dad. You destroyed our colony. You hurt my friends." The boy's voice dropped, losing its childish lilt. "And the thing about humans? We hold grudges. We're also really, really good at making friends with things that shouldn't be our friends." It was true. Humanity had looked at wolves' apex predators that could tear them apart and decided they'd make good pets. They'd befriended cats, who clearly considered themselves superior. They'd domesticated horses, elephants, and falcons. They'd formed bonds with creatures from 1,000 different worlds during their expansion into space. But Ripper wasn't domesticated. Ripper was something else entirely. He was humanity's reminder to the universe. "We come from a death world, and we brought friends," the honey badger charged. What happened next would be analyzed in Krell military academies for generations, taught as a cautionary tale about underestimating Earth species. Thexkal's elite guard warriors who had never known defeat broke and ran. They trampled each other, reaching the exits. They jettisoned escape pods. Some threw themselves out airlocks, rather than face the unstoppable fury of a 3-kilogram mammal that simply refused to acknowledge it could lose. When the last warrior fled, Ripper trotted back to Leo. The boy scratched behind the honey badger's ears. "Good boy," Leo whispered. "We're going home now. Okay?" The Krell warship drifted in space, abandoned. Its communications array transmitted one final message before going dark. A warning that would spread through every aggressive species in the galaxy. They have humans. The humans have allies. One was small. One was furry. It should not have been dangerous. It destroyed us. Do not engage Earth. Do not threaten human colonies. Do not underestimate what walks beside them. 3 weeks later, human rescue ships found Leo Grant and his companion in the ship's command center. The boy was playing cards. Ripper was eating synthesized honey he'd found in the ship's stores, having jury-rigged the alien food processors through sheer determination. The galaxy learned its lesson that day. Humanity was dangerous not because they were the strongest, or the fastest, or the smartest. They were dangerous because they looked at the most fearless, most relentless, most stubborn creature on their death world and said, "Yeah, that one's coming with us to the stars." And the honey badger, as always, didn't care what the galaxy thought about that.